I'm standing in my own kitchen, holding a cup of coffee that's gone cold, listening to my wife of 15 years have phone intimacy with another man. The irony isn't lost on me that she's discussing architectural blueprints while describing what she wants to do to his body. Tyler, you know exactly how to handle my structural needs. Erin purrs into her phone, thinking I'm still in the garage. Guess I'm not the only one who appreciates Erin's blueprints anymore. My name is Nathan Brooks. I'm 38 years old. I run a small contracting business in Millfield, Ohio, and apparently, I'm married to a woman who thinks our bedroom has been condemned. The kicker? Tyler isn't just some random guy. He's our friend. Or was our friend. Hell, I helped him move his gym equipment into that fancy apartment downtown 6 months ago. Millfield is the kind of place where everyone knows everyone's business before they know it themselves. We've got one main street, 2 bars, a diner that's been serving the same meatloaf since 1987, and enough gossip to power the entire Midwest. It's also the kind of place where a man's reputation can crumble faster than the old textile mill on the outskirts of town. I set my coffee down carefully, the ceramic making barely a whisper against the granite countertop that Erin insisted we install last year. Investment in our future, she'd said. Funny how the future has a way of blindsiding you. Nate? Is that you? Erin's voice carries from the living room, suddenly professional and crisp. Yeah, just grabbing some water, I call back, amazed at how normal my voice sounds. I hear her wrapping up the call quickly. I'll talk to you later about those specifications. When she walks into the kitchen, she looks exactly like she always does. Perfectly styled blonde hair, designer clothes that cost more than most people make in a week, and that smile that used to make my heart skip. Now it just makes my stomach turn. How was your day, honey? She asks, already moving toward the refrigerator. Oh, the usual. Fixed Mrs. Henderson's leaky faucet, installed some shelving for the Johnsons, listened to my wife plan an affair with our mutual friend. Pretty standard Tuesday. She freezes with her hand on the refrigerator handle. What did you say? I said it was pretty standard. I lean against the counter, studying her face. Though I have to admit, I'm curious about those structural needs Tyler's been helping you with. Are we talking load-bearing walls, or is this more of a foundation issue? The color drains from her face, then floods back in a wave of red. Nathan, I can explain, can you? Because I'm genuinely interested in the explanation for Tyler, I want you to blueprint my body like you did last Thursday. I use air quotes, mimicking her breathy phone voice. Erin's mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water. Finally, she settles on indignation. You were eavesdropping on a private conversation. In my own kitchen? While you were discussing architectural metaphors for adultery, guilty as charged. She straightens her shoulders, and I see the moment she decides to go on the offensive. It's a look I've seen her use in business meetings when someone questions her designs. Maybe if you paid half as much attention to me as you do to your tools, we wouldn't be having this conversation, she snaps. Ah, there it is, the classic cheater's defense. It's my fault you're sleeping with Tyler because I work for a living. I work too, Nathan. I work hard, and I deserve someone who appreciates what I bring to this relationship. Like, Tyler appreciates it? What does he bring to the relationship, Erin, besides his gym membership and his collection of protein powder? She crosses her arms. He listens to me. He makes me feel valued. And I don't? When's the last time you really looked at me, Nathan? When's the last time you told me I was beautiful? When's the last time you made me feel like a woman instead of just a roommate who happens to share your bed? The accusation hits harder than I expected, mostly because there's a grain of truth in it. We have been more like roommates lately, ships passing in the night, focused on work, on bills, on the mundane details of keeping a life together. But instead of admitting that, I find myself saying, roommates? That's interesting, you should mention that. I walk over to the junk drawer and pull out a piece of paper I printed earlier as a joke. It's one of those viral memes about roommate agreements, complete with sections about splitting utilities, cleaning schedules, and house rules. I'd planned to show it to her as a funny commentary on how formal our relationship had become. Now it seems like divine intervention. Since we're apparently roommates, I say, sliding the paper across the counter, maybe we should make it official. She looks down at the document, and despite everything, she laughs. This is ridiculous, Nathan. Is it? You just said we're like roommates. This just puts some structure around our arrangement. She's still smiling as she grabs a pen from the counter. Fine, if it makes you feel better. She signs it with a flourish, the same signature she uses on her architectural plans. Great, I say, folding the paper and putting it in my pocket. I'll get you a copy. The next morning, I'm up early. Erin's already left for work, which isn't unusual. What is unusual is the itemized bill I leave on the kitchen counter where she'll see it when she gets home. Roommate agreement. Monthly charges rent, 50% of mortgage, $847,000 utilities, 50%, $156, internet cable, $75 groceries, 50%, $234 cleaning supplies, $23 total, due, $1,335 payment, due, within 30 days. At the bottom I add, as per signed roommate agreement dated yesterday. Thanks for your cooperation. Management. I'm whistling when I leave for work. By the time I get home that evening, Erin's car is already in the driveway, and I can hear her voice through the front door. She's on the phone again, but this time she's not purring. I can't believe he actually did this, Tyler. He left me a bill. An actual bill. I walk through the front door like I own the place, which technically I do. Hey, roomie, I call out cheerfully. Did you get my invoice? She appears in the doorway to the living room, phone still pressed to her ear, eyes blazing. Tyler, I'll call you back. Let me guess, I say, hanging my keys on the hook by the door. Tyler thinks I'm being unreasonable. Tyler thinks roommates shouldn't charge each other rent. This is insane, Nathan. We're married. Are we? Because married people usually don't describe their husband as a roommate. Married people usually don't have phone intimacy with the guy who spotted them at the gym last week. She waves the paper in the air. This was a joke? You know it was a joke. Was it? Because you signed it. And in my experience, signed documents tend to be legally binding. I'm enjoying this more than I probably should. Of course, if you'd prefer to go back to being a wife instead of a roommate, we could renegotiate the terms. What does that mean? It means stop screwing Tyler, and we'll talk. Her face goes through several expressions before settling on cold fury. You want to play games, Nathan? Fine. But remember, you started this. She storms past me toward the stairs, and I call after her, Rent's due in 30 days, roomie. That night, she sleeps in the guest room. The next morning, I wake up to find my truck's tires slashed. The thing about small towns is that news travels faster than a brush fire in August. By the time I've called my insurance company and arranged for new tires, half the neighborhood already knows about my domestic troubles. Mrs. Patterson from next door makes a point of being in her front yard when the tow truck arrives. Everything all right, Nathan? She asks, not even pretending to tend to her roses. Just some tire trouble, Mrs. P. You know how it is. She gives me the look that says she knows exactly how it is, and it probably involves my wife and a set of kitchen knives. At Big Mike's gym, the atmosphere is different. Mike Kowalski has been my best friend since high school, back when we both thought we'd make it out of Millfield and see the world. Instead, he became a cop for 15 years before opening this gym, and I learned that the world looks pretty much the same everywhere when you're looking at it through the bottom of a beer bottle. Heard you had some car trouble, Mike says, not looking up from the inventory clipboard he's pretending to study. Tire trouble, I correct. 4 flat tires to be precise. That's some bad luck. Yeah, the kind of bad luck that comes with a kitchen knife. Mike finally looks at me. He's got the kind of face that's seen everything twice and wasn't impressed the first time. You want to talk about it? Not much to say. Erin's having an affair with Tyler Morrison. I found out, she got defensive. Now we're playing house with signed roommate agreements and slashed tires. Tyler Morrison? That pretty boy trainer who thinks protein shakes count as a personality? That's the one. Mike sets down his clipboard. Nathan, you know I've seen a lot of domestic situations go sideways. You need to be careful here. Don't do anything stupid. Stupid like what? Stupid like trusting my wife? Stupid like thinking 15 years of marriage meant something? Or stupid like expecting my friends to have my back? I do have your back. That's why I'm telling you to think before you act. But I'm not really listening to Mike's advice, because Tyler Morrison has just walked through the front door of the gym like he owns the place. He's got that swagger that comes from being 32, single, and convinced that the world revolves around his abs. Hey, Nate, he calls out like we're still buddies, like he hasn't been playing hide the salami with my wife for God knows how long. Heard about your tire trouble. That sucks, man. The casual way he says it, the slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth, tells me everything I need to know. He knows exactly what happened to my tires. Yeah, it's weird, I say, walking toward him. 4 tires, all flat. What are the odds? Crazy, right? Probably some kids. You know how they are these days. Mike steps between us, sensing the tension. Tyler, didn't you say you had a client at 3? Tyler checks his watch, a flashy thing that probably cost more than my truck payment. Yeah, actually I do. But hey, Nate, we should grab a beer sometime. Catch up. Sure, I say. I'd love to hear what you've been up to lately. After he leaves, Mike shakes his head. That boy's got brass balls, I'll give him that. He's got something, all right. That evening, I decide to do a little reconnaissance. I park across the street from Tyler's apartment complex and wait. Sure enough, around 7:30, Erin's BMW pulls into the parking lot. I watch her walk up to his door, watch him answer it wearing nothing but gym shorts, watch him pull her inside. The whole thing takes maybe 30 seconds, but it feels like watching my entire life get fed through a wood chipper. I sit there for another hour, thinking about what Mike said about being careful, about not doing anything stupid. Then I get out of my truck and walk over to Tyler's precious Mustang. It's a beautiful car, I'll give him that. Cherry red, perfectly maintained, probably worth more than most people's annual salary. The kind of car a man buys when he wants the world to know he's successful. I pop the hood. Tyler's the type who never locks anything because he thinks small-town crime is beneath him, and pour a bag of sugar into the gas tank. It's an old myth that sugar will destroy an engine, but Tyler doesn't know that. What it will do is make the car run rough, maybe stall out a few times, enough to ruin his day without causing permanent damage. I leave a note under his windshield wiper. Enjoy the sugar rush, champ, a concerned friend. What I don't notice is Mrs. Chen in apartment 2B, standing at her window with her phone, recording everything. The next morning, I'm having coffee and reading the paper when Erin storms through the front door. She's holding her phone in one hand and what looks like a printout in the other. You want war? She says, throwing both items on the kitchen table. You've got it. The printout is a still frame from Mrs. Chen's video, showing me clear as day with Tyler's hood open. The phone shows a text message from Tyler. Your psycho husband sabotaged my car. This isn't over. I don't know what you're talking about, I say, not looking up from the sports section. Don't play dumb, Nathan. We have you on video. Video of what? Me checking under the hood of a car? Maybe I heard a strange noise and was being a good neighbor. By pouring sugar in his gas tank? I don't know anything about any sugar, though I have to say, if someone did put sugar in Tyler's gas tank, they probably wasted their time. Sugar doesn't actually damage engines. It's just a myth. She stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time. Who are you? What happened to the man I married? I fold the paper and look at her directly. The man you married trusted you. The man you married thought his wife loved him. The man you married believed in things like loyalty and commitment and not screwing around with gym trainers named Tyler. So you're going to what? Terrorize him? Vandalize his property? I'm going to protect what's mine. I'm not your property, Nathan. No, but this house is. This life we built is. Our reputation in this town is. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you and your boyfriend destroy 15 years of my life without a fight. She sits down across from me, and for a moment, she looks like the woman I fell in love with. Vulnerable, uncertain. Nathan, what if we could fix this? What if we could go to counseling, work things out? You mean, what if I could forgive you for cheating on me with our friend, then pretend it never happened while you continue to see him behind my back? I could stop seeing Tyler. Could you? Or would you? She doesn't answer, which is an answer in itself. Here's the thing, Erin. You signed that roommate agreement. You wanted to play house like we're strangers? Fine. But roommates don't get to use each other's credit cards. Roommates don't get to make decisions about joint accounts. Roommates split everything 50-50 and mind their own business. I pull out my phone and show her the banking app. I transferred half of our checking account into a new account in my name only. I canceled the credit cards that were in my name. I canceled the streaming services, the cable, and the internet service. Her face goes white. You can't do that. Actually, I can. According to our signed roommate agreement, we're splitting all expenses. That includes entertainment expenses. If you want Netflix, you can pay for it yourself. Nathan, this is insane. My clients need to reach me. I work from home half the time. Then I suggest you set up your own internet service, roommate to roommate. She stares at me for a long moment, then stands up. Fine. If this is how you want to play it, then this is how we'll play it. But don't think I'm going to make this easy for you. That afternoon, I get a call from my biggest client, Henderson Construction. Nathan, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to cancel the Morrison project, Jim Henderson says. What? Why? We've been planning that job for 3 months. Well, I got a call from Tyler Morrison this morning. Seems there's some kind of dispute between you two, and he doesn't feel comfortable having you work on his property. Tyler Morrison. Of course. The gym trainer is also Tyler Morrison, heir to Morrison Development, one of the biggest construction companies in the county. I'd forgotten that detail, probably because Tyler works so hard to play the humble fitness instructor role. Jim, whatever Tyler told you. Look, Nathan, I don't want to get in the middle of personal business, but the Morrison account is worth a lot of money to us. I can't afford to lose it over some domestic dispute. After I hang up, I sit in my truck for a long time, thinking about what just happened. Tyler didn't just take my wife. Now, he's taking my livelihood. That evening, I drive over to Big Mike's house. He lives in a small ranch-style place on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where a man can think without neighbors watching his every move. You look like hell, he says, handing me a beer. Feel worse than I look. I tell him about the Henderson situation, about Tyler flexing his family's business muscle. That's a low blow, Mike agrees. But it's also smart. He's not just playing for your wife anymore. He's playing for everything. So what do I do? Mike takes a long drink of his beer. You could walk away, take what you can get in the divorce, start over somewhere else. Or you could fight back. But if you're going to fight, you better be prepared to win. Because guys like Tyler Morrison don't forgive and forget. What's that supposed to mean? It means if you come at the king, you better not miss. That night, I lie awake in my bed, Erin still sleeping in the guest room, and think about what Mike said about coming at the king. The thing is, I've never thought of myself as a king. I'm just a guy who works with his hands, pays his bills, and tries to be decent to people. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe decent guys finish last because they're too busy being decent to fight dirty. Tyler wants to play hardball? Fine. Game on. The next morning, I wake up to find a TikTok video that's already got 3,000 views. It's my 12-year-old daughter Emma, standing in our kitchen, talking to her phone camera. So my parents are getting divorced, and it's actually kind of hilarious, she says, with the casual cruelty that only teenagers can master. My mom says my dad's broken crazy, and my dad's treating my mom like a roommate and charging her rent. It's giving major boomer energy, not gonna lie. The comments are already rolling in. Your dad sounds iconic. Charging your wife rent is actually genius. Why are adults like this? I find Emma in the living room, still in her pajamas, scrolling through her phone. Emma, we need to talk. About what? She asks without looking up. About the video you posted this morning. What about it? It's funny. It's our private business. Dad, literally everyone at school already knows. Mom told Mrs. Patterson. Mrs. Patterson told everyone at the grocery store. And now half the town thinks you've lost your mind. What do you think? She finally looks at me, and I see more of her mother in her face than I'm comfortable with. I think you and Mom are both acting like children, and me and Sophie are the ones who have to deal with everyone talking about us. Sophie is our 9-year-old, and the thought of her having to field questions about our marriage at school makes my stomach turn. You're right, I say. Your mom and I should be handling this better. So are you going to stop being weird about Tyler? The question catches me off guard. What do you know about Tyler? I know Mom's been texting him a lot. I know she's been happier when she talks to him than when she talks to you, and I know you've been acting super weird ever since you found out. Smart kid. Too smart. Emma, what would you say if I told you that Tyler and your mom have been more than friends? She rolls her eyes. Dad, I'm 12, not stupid. I figured that out weeks ago. And how do you feel about that? She shrugs. I mean, it's gross because they're old, but you and Mom haven't been happy for a long time. Maybe it's better if you just get divorced and find people who actually like you. Out of the mouths of babes. But the TikTok video is just the beginning. By the time I get to work, my phone has been buzzing nonstop. The video has been shared on Facebook, Twitter, and apparently several local gossip groups. My first call is from my mother. Nathan James Brooks, what in the hell is going on over there? Hi, Mom. Don't hi, Mom me. I just watched my granddaughter tell the entire internet that her parents are getting divorced. When were you planning to mention this? It's complicated, Mom. Complicated how? Are you getting divorced or not? I don't know yet. Well, you better figure it out, because your father and I are getting calls from people we haven't talked to in years, asking if it's true that you've lost your mind. After I hang up with my mother, I get calls from my brother, 2 of my cousins, and a high school friend I haven't spoken to in 5 years. Apparently, Emma's TikTok has turned our family drama into a viral sensation. The comments on the video keep growing. Some people think I'm a genius. Others think I'm having a mental breakdown. A few suggest that Erin should leave me and take the kids. But it's the comment from Tyler that really gets my attention. Some people can't handle when their wife finds someone who actually appreciates her. The casual arrogance of it, the public disrespect, makes something snap inside me. I drive over to the gym, knowing Tyler will be there for the afternoon rush. Sure enough, his Mustang is in the parking lot, looking perfectly normal despite my sugar prank from the other night. Inside, Tyler's working with a client, some middle-aged woman who's clearly more interested in his attention than his fitness advice. He sees me walk in and flashes that cocky smile. Nathan, good to see you, man. How's everything going? Oh, living the dream. That's great to hear. Hey, I saw Emma's video. Kids, right? They say the darndest things. The client looks between us, sensing tension, but not understanding it. Yeah, kids are funny, I say. They see things adults sometimes miss, like when someone's being fake, or when someone's pretending to be your friend while stabbing you in the back. Tyler's smile falters slightly. Well, Sometimes adults have complicated relationships that kids don't understand. True, like when a married woman starts screwing around with a guy who's supposed to be a family friend. That's pretty complicated. The client's eyes go wide. Tyler's face turns red. Nathan, maybe we should talk about this privately. Why? You didn't seem to mind making it public when you commented on my daughter's TikTok. I think you're misunderstanding. Am I? Because from where I stand, it looks like you've been screwing my wife, cost me a major client, and now you're commenting on social media posts about my family. Did I miss anything? The gym has gone quiet. Everyone's pretending to work out while obviously listening to every word. Tyler dismisses his client with a quick, "We'll finish this later," then walks over to me. "Look, Nathan, I know this is hard for you." Hard for me? You think this is hard for me? Erin told me about your arrangement, the roommate thing. That's pretty messed up, man. You know what's messed up, Tyler? Pretending to be someone's friend while you're planning to destroy their life. I'm not destroying anything. Erin's unhappy. She has been for years. All I did was listen to her. Is that what you call it? Listening? Tyler steps closer, and I can smell his expensive cologne mixed with gym sweat. Yeah, that's what I call it. Something you might want to try sometime. Here's something you might want to try, Tyler. Staying away from my family. Or what? The challenge hangs in the air between us. Everyone in the gym is watching now, not even pretending to work out. Or we're going to have a problem. Tyler laughs, but there's no humor in it. We already have a problem, Nathan. The problem is you can't accept that your wife doesn't want to be married to you anymore. That's when I hit him. It's not a sucker punch. He sees it coming. But he's not expecting the body shot that follows, a hard right to his ribs that doubles him over. Stay away from my family, I repeat, then walk out of the gym. My phone starts buzzing before I even get to my truck. By the time I get home, there are already 3 videos of the fight posted online. Erin is waiting for me in the kitchen, and she's furious. "Are you insane?" she screams. "You assaulted Tyler at the gym, in front of everyone." I defended my family. "You embarrassed us. Emma's video was bad enough, but now there's footage of you punching people. What is wrong with you?" "What's wrong with me? I'm not the one having an affair. And I'm not the one committing assault." It was hardly assault. I hit him once. Tyler could press charges. "Let him, then we can discuss in court why I hit him." She stares at me like I'm a stranger. "This isn't you, Nathan. This isn't who you are." Maybe it's who I need to be. That night, I get a text from Big Mike. "Heard about the gym. You okay?" I text back, "Never better." But I'm not okay. I'm angry in a way I've never been angry before. It's not just about Erin and Tyler anymore. It's about respect. It's about standing up for yourself when everyone expects you to just roll over and take it. The next morning, I wake up to find that my confrontation with Tyler has made the local news. Not the big stations, but the community Facebook groups and local blogs are all talking about it. Local contractor assaults gym owner in domestic dispute. Millfield marriage drama turns violent. Husband attacks wife's alleged boyfriend. The comments are split between people who think I'm a hero and people who think I'm unhinged. But what bothers me most are the comments from people I thought were friends. Sarah Jenkins, who I've known since high school. "Violence is never the answer. Nathan needs help." Tom Morrison, Tyler's cousin. "My cousin Tyler is pressing charges. This psycho needs to be stopped." Dave Chen, whose wife recorded me at Tyler's car. "I always thought Nathan was a decent guy, but this is crazy behavior." One by one, I watch my social circle turn against me. People who I've known for years, who I've helped with home repairs, who I've shared beers with, are suddenly taking sides, and most of them aren't taking mine. By noon, I've lost 3 more clients. By evening, Erin has filed for a restraining order. I'm sitting in my truck outside the courthouse, reading the paperwork, when my phone rings. It's Big Mike. "You need to come over here," he says. "Now." When I get to Mike's house, I find him in his garage, working on an old motorcycle. He doesn't look up when I walk in. "You want to tell me what the hell you're thinking?" he asks. "I'm thinking I'm tired of being everyone's doormat." "So you decided to start swinging at people?" "I hit him once, Mike, one punch. One punch that's going to cost you everything." He finally looks at me. "Nathan, I've been a cop. I've seen guys go down this road. It doesn't end well." "What road?" "The road where you convince yourself that everyone's against you, so you might as well give them something to be against you for. Everyone is against me." "No, they're not, but they will be if you keep this up." I sit down on an overturned crate, suddenly exhausted. "Mike, what am I supposed to do? Just let them win? Let Tyler take my wife, my reputation, my business, everything I've worked for?" "You're supposed to be smart about it. You're supposed to think before you act." "I'm tired of thinking. I'm tired of being the reasonable one while everyone else does whatever they want." Mike sets down his wrench and looks at me seriously. "Nathan, I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to like it, but you need to hear it." "What?" "You're becoming the villain in your own story." The words hit me like a physical blow. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means people are starting to see you as the problem, not Tyler. It means your own daughter is posting videos making fun of you. It means your wife got a restraining order against you. It means you're losing friends, clients, and respect, and instead of figuring out why, you're just getting angrier." "So what am I supposed to do?" Mike is quiet for a long moment. Then he says, "You're supposed to be better than them." But as I drive home that night, I realize I don't want to be better than them anymore. I want to win. The restraining order means I can't go within 100 yards of Tyler, which is fine by me. What it doesn't prevent is me doing a little research into the man who's been destroying my life. I spend the weekend at the library. Yes, people still use libraries, digging into public records, business filings, and newspaper archives. What I find is interesting. Tyler Morrison isn't just some gym trainer who happens to come from money. He's been systematically working his way through the wives of local businessmen for the past 3 years. The pattern is always the same: befriend the couple, get close to the wife, create problems in the marriage, then swoop in as the supportive shoulder to cry on. But here's the interesting part. Tyler's not working alone. Every single affair he's had has been facilitated by the same person. Someone who introduced him to the couples, someone who was always there to provide advice and support when the marriages started falling apart, someone who seemed to have an uncanny ability to be in the right place at the right time with exactly the right words. Sasha Williams, Erin's best friend since college. I'm sitting in my truck outside Sasha's real estate office, staring at the pieces of the puzzle that are finally starting to fit together. Sasha introduced Tyler to our social circle 2 years ago. Sasha was the one who suggested Erin and I needed more excitement in our relationship. Sasha was the one who recommended Tyler as a personal trainer. Sasha was the one who kept encouraging Erin to follow her heart and not settle for less than she deserved. Sasha has been playing matchmaker, but not for love, for destruction. I need to understand why, so I decide to have a conversation with someone who might have answers. Rebecca Martinez, the wife of the last businessman Tyler targeted. I find Rebecca at the coffee shop downtown, sitting alone with a laptop and a stack of legal documents. She looks like she hasn't slept well in months. "Rebecca, I'm Nathan Brooks. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about Tyler Morrison." Her face hardens immediately. "Are you a reporter?" "No, I pause, realizing how this is going to sound. "I'm going through something similar with my wife." Understanding dawns in her eyes, followed by sympathy. "Sit down." Over the next hour, Rebecca tells me a story that's disturbingly familiar. Her husband Carlos owned a successful landscaping business. They'd been married for 12 years, had 2 kids, and thought they were happy. Then Sasha Williams started showing up at their social events, always with Tyler in tow. "Sasha kept telling me I was too good for Carlos," Rebecca says. She said I deserved someone who appreciated my intelligence, my ambition. She made me feel like I was wasting my life. And Tyler just happened to be there to provide an alternative? Tyler was perfect, attentive, complimentary, interested in everything I had to say. He made me feel like the most important person in the world. What happened? Rebecca's laugh is bitter. What happened is that I left Carlos for Tyler, and Tyler dumped me 3 weeks later. Said he'd realized we weren't compatible long-term. By then, Carlos had filed for divorce, I'd lost my kids half the time, and my reputation was destroyed. And Sasha? Sasha was very supportive during the breakup. Told me Tyler was a jerk, helped me find a lawyer, was a real friend through the whole thing. Rebecca pauses. It wasn't until later that I found out she'd been telling everyone in town that I was having a mental breakdown, that I was unstable, unreliable, not fit to be around children. Why would she do that? That's what I couldn't figure out, until I started paying attention to what happened after my divorce. Rebecca pulls out her phone and shows me a real estate listing. It's her old house, the one she'd shared with Carlos. Sasha got the listing when Carlos decided to sell, 6% commission on a $400,000 house. Then she got the listing for the house I had to sell when I couldn't afford it anymore. Then she helped Tyler find his new apartment. Then she helped Carlos find a new place when he moved across town. The math is starting to make sense. She's been orchestrating breakups for the real estate commissions. That's my theory. Think about it. Every couple Tyler's targeted has owned property. Every divorce has resulted in at least 2 real estate transactions. And Sasha's been the listing agent for most of them. I sit back in my chair, stunned by the scope of it. How many couples? That I know of? 6, including you and your wife. Probably more. Why hasn't anyone figured this out before? Because she's smart about it. She never pushes too hard, never makes it obvious. She just plants seeds, makes suggestions, creates opportunities. And Tyler's the perfect front man. Charming, attractive, just narcissistic enough to believe he's irresistible to married women. Does Tyler know what she's doing? Rebecca shrugs. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's just lucky. Or maybe he's in on it and gets a cut of the commissions. After I leave Rebecca, I drive around town for a while, thinking about what she's told me. If she's right, then Erin and I aren't just victims of an affair. We're victims of a calculated business scheme designed to destroy marriages for profit. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. But this time, it's a different kind of anger. It's not the hot, impulsive rage that made me punch Tyler. It's cold, calculating fury that wants justice. I go home and start making a list of every couple in Tyler and Sasha's social circle who've gotten divorced in the past 3 years. Then I start making phone calls. By the end of the evening, I've talked to 4 other people with stories similar to Rebecca's. The details vary, but the pattern is always the same. Sasha plants doubts about the marriage, Tyler provides an alternative, the couple breaks up, and Sasha profits from the real estate transactions that follow. The scope of the scheme is breathtaking. Conservative estimate, Sasha's made over $200,000 in commissions from destroyed marriages. But knowing what she's done and proving it are 2 different things. I need evidence. I need to catch her in the act. That's when I remember something Rebecca said. Sasha was always very supportive during the breakups, always ready with advice and comfort. I wonder what advice she's giving Erin right now. The next morning, I call Erin's office. Her secretary tells me she's working from home today, which means she's probably meeting with Sasha to plan their next move. I park down the street from our house and wait. Sure enough, around 10 o'clock, Sasha's BMW pulls into the driveway. I give them 30 minutes to get settled, then I walk up to the front door and let myself in. It's still my house, restraining order or not. I can hear their voices from the kitchen. Think Nathan's completely lost it, Sasha is saying. The way he attacked Tyler, the whole roommate thing, it's clear he's having some kind of breakdown. I know, but what if he's right about some things? Erin's voice is uncertain. What if I have been taking him for granted? Erin, honey, listen to me. Nathan is trying to manipulate you. He's trying to make you feel guilty for finding happiness with Tyler. That's classic abuser behavior. Nathan's not an abuser, isn't he? He's controlling your finances, he's stalking Tyler, he physically assaulted him. These are all red flags. But, no buts, Erin. You deserve better than this. You deserve someone who supports your dreams, who makes you feel valued. Someone like Tyler. I step into the kitchen doorway. Someone like Tyler, who's going to dump her in 3 weeks. Both women spin around, startled. Nathan! Erin gasps. You can't be here. The restraining order doesn't apply to my own house, I say, though I'm not entirely sure that's true. Hello, Sasha. We need to talk. Sasha recovers quickly, putting on her concerned friend face. Nathan, Erin's right. You shouldn't be here. You're clearly not thinking straight. Oh, I'm thinking very straight. Clearer than I have in months, actually. I've been doing some research, Sasha, talking to some old friends. Rebecca Martinez says hello, by the way. Something flickers in Sasha's eyes, but her expression doesn't change. I don't know what Rebecca told you, but she's been struggling with some mental health issues since her divorce. Funny, that's exactly what she said you'd say. I walk further into the kitchen, noting how Sasha positions herself between me and Erin. She also told me about your real estate commissions. Quite a lucrative business, breaking up marriages. That's ridiculous, Sasha says, but her voice is a little too sharp. Is it? Let's see. The Martinezes, the Johnsons, the Kellys, the Pattersons, the Washingtons, and now the Brookses. 6 couples, 12 real estate transactions, roughly $200,000 in commissions. Not bad for 2 years' work. Erin is looking between us, confusion clear on her face. What are you talking about, Nathan? I'm talking about your best friend running a con game, sweetheart. She's been systematically destroying marriages so she can profit from the divorce sales. That's insane, Sasha says. Nathan, you're paranoid. You're seeing conspiracies where there aren't any. Am I? Then explain why Tyler's been through 6 married women in 3 years, and you've been the real estate agent for every divorce that followed. Correlation isn't causation, Sasha says, but she's backing toward the door. You're right. But motive plus opportunity plus pattern equals a pretty compelling case. Erin finally finds her voice. Sasha, is this true? Have you been manipulating me? Of course not. Erin, you know me. I care about you. I want you to be happy. Do you? Or do you want me to be divorced so you can sell this house and Tyler's apartment and whatever place I end up buying? Sasha's mask finally slips, and for just a moment, I see the cold calculation underneath. You know what, Erin? Maybe you deserve Nathan. Maybe you deserve a man who charges you rent and treats you like a business transaction. Maybe you deserve to spend the rest of your life in this boring little town with your boring little husband, wondering what might have been. She grabs her purse and heads for the door. But don't call me when Tyler gets bored and moves on to someone more interesting. After she leaves, Erin and I stand in the kitchen in silence for a long moment. Finally, she says, Is it true? About the other couples? Yeah, it's true. And Tyler? Tyler's either the world's luckiest serial cheater or he's in on it. Erin sits down heavily at the kitchen table. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid. You're human. They're very good at what they do. Nathan, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to fix this. I sit down across from her. I don't know either. But I know we can't let them get away with it. What do you mean? I smile, and it's not a nice smile. I mean, it's time for some payback. Planning revenge against people who've made a career out of destroying lives requires a different approach than throwing punches in a gym. It requires patience, strategy, and a willingness to play the long game. Fortunately, I've had plenty of time to think about it. The first step is gathering evidence. Real evidence, not just circumstantial connections and suspicious patterns. I need proof that Sasha and Tyler have been running a con game, and I need it in a form that will hold up to scrutiny. I start by reaching out to all the divorced couples I've identified. Not just the wives Tyler seduced, but the husbands who got left behind. Men like Carlos Martinez, Jim Kelly, and David Washington. Guys who, like me, watched their marriages implode and never understood why. We meet at Big Mike's gym after hours, 6 men who've been through the same nightmare. The atmosphere is tense at first. Nobody likes admitting they've been played for a fool. But once we start sharing stories, the anger builds. I knew something was off about Sasha, Carlos says. She was always asking questions about our finances, our property, our marriage. I thought she was just being a friend. Tyler had my wife convinced I was holding her back from her dreams, Jim adds. Kept talking about how she deserved better, how she was too good for small-town life. Same here, David nods. And the minute Sarah filed for divorce, Sasha was right there with business cards for lawyers, real estate agents, the whole 9 yards. Big Mike, who's been listening quietly, finally speaks up. So what's the plan? The plan, I say, is to give them exactly what they want. We're going to let them think they've won, and then we're going to expose them in front of the entire town. Over the next 2 weeks, we put our plan into motion. It's more complex than anything I've ever organized. But these guys are motivated. We've all lost marriages, money, and reputations to Sasha and Tyler's scheme. Now it's time to get some of that back. The key is making Tyler and Sasha overconfident. We need them to think they've successfully destroyed another marriage and are about to cash in on another real estate windfall. So I move out of the house. It's temporary, just for show, but it needs to look real. I rent a small apartment across town and make sure everyone knows about it. I even hire Sasha to help me find the place, playing the role of the defeated husband who just wants to get on with his life. I think this is very mature of you, Nathan, Sasha says as we tour the apartment. Sometimes the best thing you can do is accept reality and move forward. Yeah, well, I can't fight City Hall, right? Exactly. And I'm sure once the dust settles, you and Erin can work out a fair custody arrangement. Speaking of Erin, I suppose she'll want to sell the house? Sasha tries to hide her eagerness, but I catch the gleam in her eyes. Well, that would be her decision, of course, but I'd be happy to help if she decides to downsize. I'm sure you would. Meanwhile, Erin is playing her part perfectly. She's been meeting with Tyler regularly, letting him think their relationship is progressing exactly as planned. She's even started looking at smaller houses with Sasha, discussing her new life as a single woman. The performance is so convincing that even I sometimes forget it's an act. But the real masterstroke comes when David Washington approaches Tyler about personal training. David's wife Sarah was Tyler's conquest last year, and Tyler thinks David is just another broken ex-husband trying to get his life back together. What Tyler doesn't know is that David is wearing a wire. I've got to hand it to you, man, David says during their training session. The way you handled the situation with Sarah was impressive. What do you mean? Tyler asks, but he's clearly pleased by the compliment. Come on, we both know what you did. You saw an opportunity with an unhappy wife and you took it. No judgment. I probably would have done the same thing if I had your game. Tyler grins. Well, when you've got it, you've got it. How many married women have you been with? Enough, Tyler says with obvious pride. Married women are the best. They know what they want, they're grateful for the attention, and they're usually ready to make big changes in their lives. Like leaving their husbands? Like upgrading their entire situation. Most of these women are stuck in boring marriages with boring guys. I show them what they're missing. And then what? You stay with them? Tyler laughs. Are you kidding? I'm not looking to be anyone's second husband. I'm doing them a favor, showing them they can do better than settling. Better than settling for guys like me, you mean? No offense, David, but yeah. You guys are all the same. Work, TV, beer, bed. These women deserve passion, excitement, someone who makes them feel alive. So you sleep with them, convince them to leave their husbands, then dump them? I prefer to think of it as setting them free. The recording is damning, but it's not enough by itself. We need something that directly implicates Sasha and proves the financial motive. That comes when Carlos Martinez, posing as a potential client, approaches Sasha about investing in real estate. "I'm looking for someone who really understands the market," he tells her over lunch. "Someone who knows how to create opportunities." "What kind of opportunities?" Sasha asks. "Well, I've been watching your success over the past few years. You seem to have a knack for finding properties that are about to come on the market, houses that other agents don't even know are available yet." Sasha preens at the compliment. "I do have some unique insights into the local market." "Like what?" "Well, let's just say I'm good at reading people. I can usually tell when a marriage is in trouble before the couple knows it themselves. That's a useful skill in real estate. Very useful. Divorce is one of the biggest drivers of property sales. If you can identify couples who are heading for Splitsville, you can position yourself to handle both sides of the transaction." "Both sides?" "The marital home sale and the new property purchases. Sometimes that's 3 or 4 transactions from one divorce." "Impressive. How do you identify these couples?" Sasha leans in conspiratorially. "Sometimes they just need a little push in the right direction. A suggestion here, an introduction there. People want to be happy, Carlos. Sometimes they just need someone to show them what happiness looks like." "Show them?" "I have a friend who's very good at making women feel appreciated, making them realize what they're missing in their current relationships." "This friend helps you identify potential clients?" "He helps women realize their potential. What they do with that realization is up to them." "And you profit from their realizations?" "I provide a valuable service during a difficult time in their lives. The fact that it's also profitable is just good business." We have her. Now comes the final phase, the public reveal. Millfield's annual Founders' Day Festival is the biggest social event of the year. Everyone in town attends, from the mayor to the high school kids looking for something to do on a Saturday night. It's held in the town square, with local businesses setting up booths, bands playing on a makeshift stage, and enough gossip to fuel the rumor mill for months. It's the perfect venue for what we have planned. Tyler and Sasha are both there, of course. Tyler's running a fitness demonstration, showing off his physique and charm to a crowd of admirers. Sasha's working the crowd like the social butterfly she is, networking and collecting business cards. They think they're on the verge of their biggest score yet. My divorce from Erin is proceeding exactly as planned, and Sasha's already got a buyer lined up for our house. What they don't know is that the buyer is actually Jim Kelly, working with us to set the trap. At 3 o'clock, I take the stage. "Good afternoon, everyone," I say into the microphone. "For those who don't know me, I'm Nathan Brooks. I've lived in Millfield my whole life, run a small business here, raised my family here. This town means everything to me." The crowd settles down, expecting a typical small-town speech about community values and local pride. I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about something that's been affecting our community. Something that's been destroying families and hurting people we care about. Now I have their attention. Nothing draws a crowd like the promise of scandal. Over the past 3 years, 6 couples in our community have gotten divorced. That might not seem unusual. Divorce happens everywhere. But what makes these divorces unusual is that they all follow the same pattern. I can see Tyler and Sasha in the crowd now, both looking confused and slightly alarmed. In each case, the wife was introduced to a charming young man who made her feel special, appreciated, valued. This man convinced her that she deserved better than her current marriage, that she was wasting her life with her boring husband. Tyler's face has gone pale. Sasha is pushing through the crowd, trying to get closer to the stage. In each case, the wife left her husband for this charming young man. And in each case, the charming young man lost interest shortly after the divorce papers were filed. The crowd is murmuring now, putting pieces together, recognizing the pattern. Now, you might think this is just the story of a serial cheater with commitment issues. But it's actually much more interesting than that. I pull out a folder and open it, because in each case, the same real estate agent handled the property transactions that followed the divorce, the marital home sale, the new apartment rental, sometimes multiple property purchases, one agent profiting from every broken marriage. Sasha has stopped pushing through the crowd. She's standing frozen, staring at me with undisguised hatred. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Tyler Morrison and Sasha Williams, the entrepreneurial team that's been systematically destroying marriages for profit. The crowd turns to look at them. Tyler tries to smile and wave it off, but Sasha just glares at me. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a wild conspiracy theory, so let me play you some recordings that might change your mind. The first recording is Tyler bragging to David about his conquests, describing married women as easy targets and dismissing their husbands as boring losers. The crowd's murmur turns to angry muttering. The second recording is Sasha explaining to Carlos how she identifies vulnerable couples and uses Tyler to help women realize their potential. By the time it finishes, the crowd is genuinely angry. These two people have destroyed 6 marriages, separated children from their parents, and profited from the misery they've caused. They've stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars in property and commissions, and they've torn apart the fabric of our community. Tyler finally finds his voice. "This is all lies," he shouts. "Nathan Brooks is a bitter, violent man who can't accept that his wife doesn't love him anymore." "Is that right, Tyler?" I ask. "Then explain this." The big screen behind me, borrowed from the high school AV department, lights up with a slideshow of financial records, real estate transactions, and a timeline showing the correlation between Tyler's affairs and Sasha's commissions. The evidence is all here, folks. Names, dates, amounts, recorded confessions. Tyler Morrison and Sasha Williams have been running a con game on our community, and it's time someone held them accountable. The crowd is getting restless now. These are people who've known some of the affected families for years, people who watched marriages fall apart without understanding why. Now, I want to be clear about something, I continue. I'm not asking for vigilante justice. I'm not asking anyone to take the law into their own hands. I'm simply asking that we, as a community, refuse to do business with people who profit from destroying families. I look directly at Tyler and Sasha. I'm asking that we make it clear that this kind of behavior has consequences. Tyler makes a break for it, pushing through the crowd toward the parking area. But he doesn't get far before he trips over a conveniently placed cooler and goes sprawling into a mud puddle left by the morning's rain. The crowd erupts in laughter and applause. Sasha tries a different approach, attempting to salvage the situation with damage control. "This is all a misunderstanding," she calls out. "Nathan is having a mental breakdown. He's been stalking Tyler. He's been harassing me. He's been recording you confessing to your crimes," I interrupt. "Been documenting your scheme with public records and financial documents? Been gathering testimony from your victims? Those recordings are illegal. You can't use them." Actually, Ohio is a one-party consent state. As long as one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's perfectly legal. Big Mike steps up to the microphone. "I'm a retired police officer, and I've reviewed all of Nathan's evidence. Everything he's presented today was obtained legally and ethically." The crowd turns back to Sasha, who finally realizes she's lost. Her face contorts with rage. "You think you've won?" she screams at me. "You think this changes anything? Your wife still doesn't love you? Your marriage is still over? You're still a loser who couldn't keep his woman happy?" "You're right about one thing, Sasha," I say calmly. "My marriage is over, but not because my wife doesn't love me." Erin steps up onto the stage beside me. "It's over because we both decided that we're better as friends than as spouses," she says into the microphone. "We've been working together for weeks to expose Tyler and Sasha's scheme. Our divorce is real, but it's amicable. We're co-parenting our children and supporting each other through this transition." The crowd is stunned. This wasn't the ending they expected. We realized that Tyler and Sasha were right about one thing. Erin continues. We weren't happy in our marriage, but the solution wasn't an affair or a con game. The solution was honest communication and mutual respect. So we're getting divorced, I add. But we're doing it on our terms, not theirs. We're splitting our assets fairly, we're sharing custody of our children, and we're both staying in Millfield to be part of this community. And, Erin says with a smile, we're selling our house ourselves. No real estate agent required. The crowd erupts in cheers and applause. Tyler has finally extracted himself from the mud puddle and is limping toward his car. Sasha is standing alone in the middle of the crowd, everyone giving her a wide berth like she's carrying a contagious disease. Ladies and gentlemen, I say into the microphone, I want to thank you for listening today. I want to thank my ex-wife for her courage and partnership in exposing this scheme. And I want to thank this community for proving that we don't tolerate people who profit from destroying families. As I step down from the stage, people start approaching me. Some want to shake my hand, some want to share their own stories about Tyler and Sasha, some just want to be part of the drama. But the person I'm most interested in talking to is my daughter Emma, who's been standing at the edge of the crowd with her phone out, recording everything. So, I ask her, what did you think of the show? She grins at me. Dad, that was actually pretty epic. You totally destroyed them. We destroyed them. Your mom and I working together. Are you really getting divorced? Yeah, we are. But we're still going to be a family. Just a different kind of family. And Tyler and Sasha? I look over at Tyler, who's finally made it to his car but can't get it started. Apparently, someone put sugar in his gas tank. Again. Sasha is walking toward her car alone, everyone avoiding her like she's radioactive. Tyler and Sasha are done in this town, I say. No one's going to do business with them after today. No one's going to trust them. They'll probably have to leave Millfield entirely. Good, Emma says fiercely. They hurt a lot of people. Yeah, they did. But not anymore. As the crowd begins to disperse, I notice that someone has spray-painted "loser" across the hood of Tyler's Mustang. And someone else has put flyers under the windshield wipers of every car in the parking lot, advertising Sasha's services, with a very unflattering photo and the tagline, "Marriage Wrecker for Hire." I have no idea who might have done such things. Tyler finally gets his car started and drives away, but not before rolling down his window to shout something at me that gets lost in the crowd noise. Sasha follows a few minutes later, but not before stopping to glare at me one more time. This isn't over, Nathan, she says. Yeah, it is, I reply. You're done here, Sasha. Time to find a new town to terrorize. She gets in her car and drives away, and I know I'll probably never see her again. That evening, there's a party at Big Mike's gym. All the guys who helped expose Tyler and Sasha are there, along with their ex-wives, current girlfriends, kids, and friends. It's not a celebration of divorce or revenge. It's a celebration of justice and community. You know what the best part is? Carlos Martinez says, raising his beer in a toast. They thought they were so smart, so clever. They thought small-town people were just easy marks. Turns out, small-town people stick together when someone threatens the community, Jim Kelly adds. To Nathan Brooks, Big Mike announces, who proved that sometimes the best revenge is just telling the truth. Everyone raises their drinks, and for the first time in months, I feel genuinely happy. But the real victory comes the next morning, when I wake up in my own bed, in my own house, and realize that I've won something more valuable than revenge. I've won my self-respect. Tyler and Sasha destroyed 6 marriages, but they didn't destroy mine. Erin and I destroyed our own marriage, honestly and openly, and then we rebuilt our relationship as something better. We're better co-parents than we were spouses, better friends than we were lovers. And Tyler and Sasha? They're gone, disappeared from Millfield like they never existed, leaving behind only the wreckage of their schemes and the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes Justice actually wins. 3 months later, I get a text from an unknown number. You think you won, but you just destroyed 2 people's lives. I hope you're happy. I text back, I didn't destroy your lives. I just stopped you from destroying anyone else's. The response comes immediately. We were helping those women realize they deserved better. No, I type back. You were helping yourselves to their money. There's a difference. There's no response after that. 6 months later, I hear through the grapevine that Tyler's moved to Florida and is working at a chain gym. Sasha's apparently selling insurance in Arizona. Good for them. Maybe they've learned something from their experience in Millfield. Maybe they've realized that there are consequences to treating people like disposable sources of profit. Or maybe they're just looking for a new community to exploit. Either way, it's not my problem anymore. I'm sitting on my front porch, watching my daughters play in the yard, when Erin pulls into the driveway. She's coming to pick up the girls for the weekend. We've worked out a custody arrangement that actually puts the kids first, instead of using them as weapons against each other. How was your week? She asks as the girls run to her car. Good. Busy. Henderson Construction gave me the Morrison project after all. Apparently Tyler's family decided to distance themselves from him after the festival incident. That's great, Nathan. You deserve it. How about you? How's the new job? She got hired by a firm in Columbus, designing sustainable housing projects. It's exactly the kind of work she always wanted to do. I love it. It's challenging, creative, meaningful. Everything I hoped it would be. I'm glad. We stand there for a moment, watching our daughters buckle themselves into her car. Nathan? Yeah? I'm sorry. For all of it. For the affair. For letting Sasha manipulate me. For not talking to you about how unhappy I was. I'm sorry too. For charging you rent. For punching Tyler. For turning our problems into a public spectacle. You know what's funny? We're better at talking to each other now than we were when we were married. Maybe that's the point. Maybe some people are better as friends than as spouses. Maybe. She gets in her car and drives away with our daughters, and I go back inside my house. It's quieter now, emptier, but it's also more peaceful. There's no tension, no walking on eggshells, no wondering what mood everyone's going to be in. I pour myself a beer and sit down at the kitchen table with the newspaper. There's a small article on page 3 about a real estate agent in Arizona who's been accused of unethical business practices. The name has been changed, but I recognize the description. Some people never learn, but that's not my problem anymore. I've got my own life to live, my own business to run, my own community to be part of. Tyler Morrison and Sasha Williams tried to destroy my life for profit. Instead, they taught me something valuable. That sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's just refusing to let other people's actions define who you are. Sometimes it's just telling the truth and letting the chips fall where they may. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, the truth is enough.